Title: Marina Breakfast, version, unpublished. Sitting at the Marina Premier Inn. Unlimited breakfast, let the research begin. I gaze through the glass at the lock gate's frame, where a Mumbai daughter carries her name. Her stern is the sentry, turned to the sea, while her bow points to land, as still as can be. She's moored inside the gates, unmoving and grand, the oldest afloat, beside the Naval Museum's land. I see the high masts with their intricate lace, and the yards crossing wide in their vertical space. The starboard hull stretches, a black and white wall, waiting to share its history and for visitors to call. I cradle the mug, heat warming my palms, contemplating the ship through the morning's calms. A search on my screen brings the legend to light. 1817, she rose into sight. I sip the cappuccino, the cream and the white. A chocolate-dusted cloud, airy and light, as I read of her birth under far eastern skies, where the sun and the dust saw this beauty arise. In the heat of the east, where the teak forests were growing, her timbers were shaped for a future unknowing. A frigate of speed, built for patrol and protection, ready to face what the world threw from the ocean. I cut through a sausage, succulent and hot, while I study the wood that the years haven't shot. Not the soft British oak that the salt rock would seek, but the iron-hard grain of the Malabar teak. It's oily and dense, with a strength that won't leak, defying the sea waters with a hull tough and sleek. I glance from my plate to the ship behind the lock, a ghost of the east, sitting firm as a rock. I rise from the chair, heading back for a round, where the poached egg sits, perfectly bound. I carry it back, my eyes on the window, where the masts catch the light in a brief, sunlit glow. Then back to the screen for the 1819 law of St. Helena's Rock and its desolate shore. She took on John Stokoe, the surgeon who dared to treat the great exile with a loyalty bared. But Stokoe was loyal to the emperor's name, a choice that would cost him his rank and his fame. He honored the emperor, the title, the man, defying the crown and the admiralty's ban. Dismissed from the navy for his treasonous grace, he left the Trincomalee with a sting of disgrace. I look to the plate as the history awakes, and the gold of the yolk slowly ripples and breaks. It pulls on the white like a sun going down, like the emperor's hopes and his lost, stolen crown. I look past the masts to the Wingfield Castle's side, a paddle steamer born of the Hartlepool tide, built in 1934 for the Humber's rough flow. Now her wide wooden paddles feel the water's gentle throw. Then the Coronia nearby, once watchful by name, who brought men from Dunkirk and found her own fame. In 1935, she was launched to the sea. Now a veteran of war, floating quiet and free. While I grab some more bacon and scrambled egg too, I imagine 'em as younger sisters, under her watchful view. I balance the plate as I head for my seat, situated near the window where the steel and the timber and the centuries meet. I watch the foam-topped black water lap slow at the hulls, disturbed only briefly by the cry of the gulls. The steamer's white paint and the frigate's dark teak tell a story of progress, special and unique. One powered by steam and the push of the wheel, the other by canvas and an iron-hard keel. I sit with my breakfast, the steam rising slow, as the ghosts of the harbor provide their own show. Still at the table, with mushrooms and beans, I read of the Trincomalee's mid-century scenes. In 1847, through the Caribbean blue, she hunted the slavers with a veteran crew. A hunter of shadows, a bringer of light, policing the waves in the name of the right. Between the fried tomato and the bacon's salt skin, I read how she fought, determined to win. No longer just teak in a builder's design, but a shield for the soul on the hot tropic line. Now working on my fried egg and hash brown, from under the buffet's heat lamps, the best in the town. The oil on the egg glimmers golden and bright, as I read of her years in the training ship Light. By 1897, her war days were through, but a man named Cobb saw a future anew. Renamed Foudroyant, a classroom of wood, doing for England whatever she could. I crunch on the potato, seasoned and crisp, as the steam of the past fades away like a wisp. She wasn't just timber or guns on a deck, but a school for the young, saved from a wreck. Young uns in the rigging and salt in the air. She gave them a purpose, a life, and a care. I mop up the plate as the history nears, the end of the voyage and the dawn of the years. I wander down for the toast, golden brown from the heat. The crunch of the crust making breakfast almost complete. I spread on the butter, it melts in a pool. As I read how she grew from a maritime school. Through the middle of centuries, battered and grey. She waited for someone to point out the way. Across the long decades of rust and of salt. Her story was paused, in a lingering halt. But the wood held its secret, that Malabar teak. Stronger than iron, though the future looked bleak. I bite through the toast, as the plan is unfurled. To bring back this treasure to the eyes of the world. From the scrap heaps of history, she rose from the grime. A survivor of tempests, a victor of time. One last bit of crust, as the table grows clear. And the end of the legend is finally near. Returning with a buttery pastry, a cold orange juice. As the history and hunger find a beautiful truce. By 1990, she had come home to stay. Restored to her glory at the Hartlepool Quay. No longer a phantom or school for the young. But the HMS Trincomalee, with her praises now sung. I set down the cutlery, the plate now bare. Searching for one last secret hidden out there. Deep in her timber, above where the dark waters prevail, lies the luck of the builder, that one silver nail. I've had my fill, my curious research is now done. A morning at Hartlepool Marina, you should definitely come. Shadow Duffield. General Index.